Hey guys, what's going on? Flawless Crested Geckos, Will, Audra.
Hi.
Coming to you guys with another video, a different type of video. As you probably can see from the background, from the title, very, very, very touchy topic, very, very controversial topic as far as opinions. One side or the other. There's a million different reasons for people to get into Crested Geckos and for people to get out of Crested Geckos. That being said, we are going to shed our light on the subject. And, you know, again, disclaimer, you guys see the topic. The topic is a very, very pushy topic. And if you've been watching us for any length of time, we don't do drama.
We don't.
No drama at all.
We don't like drama.
So we're going to approach it from a different perspective. And more shout out to like Tiki's, David. It's just geckos, guys. That's the approach we love.
Yes.
And we're friends.
Yes.
So if anybody has been watching us,
and you know, congratulations are in store for them.
Absolutely.
They now have a little tiki's running around. Well, not quite running around yet, but they have a little tiki.
That would be awesome. Nickname them Tiki.
Yeah, I know. Little tiki. Little tiki.
But when we started, guys, we won't kind of take you guys down memory lane, how we got in. Hopefully you know how we got into Crested Gecko industry, hobby, and we're still thoroughly enjoying it.
Yes.
It has been an extreme change of pace. I'm sure you would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Then passing each other in the hallway, seeing each other here and there. Overall enjoyment through our relationship.
Yes. Now my biggest challenge is making sure that I keep the camera still while he's weaving from side to side in the lane.
Oh my gosh, whatever. I'm not weaving.
Yes, you are. You always do.
But we're on a road trip. We're going down actually for a surprise birthday party for Tony
From
Hardwired Exotics. So it's about a little over a 3-hour drive one way. We're gonna go hang out, turn around, come back. And we felt like doing this video right now because it's a long drive and we're doing it in a safe manner because we're two people here and we're buckled in, that we'll talk on this topic because honestly, things like this we were never able to do things like this.
No, not
for
at all.
years, period.
No.
So there's been a lot of blessings that have come along with the hard work that we put in.
Yes.
Any business, any industry, you're gonna have to have hard work.
Any relationship.
Oh my gosh, especially with this woman, absolutely.
Don't even know. It's this man.
Absolutely.
Y'all.
It's gonna take some very significant work ethic. But that being said, we're gonna try to keep it on topic and keep you guys focused on the task at hand. So the Crested Gecko industry, we were able to get in years ago. We were extremely fascinated with Crested Geckos. We were extremely intrigued, and we were starving for information. Audra, I say we because I always represent us, she represents us. So I dove into all the research and kind of was bombarding Audra with tons of information of look at this gecko, look at that gecko, and the love for Crested Geckos just grew and grew and grew. And with that came along breeding and the fascinating side of wanting to see what we can create. Then we discovered like the genetics, and that's ever evolving. We find out new things about genetics all the time. There's an awesome blueprint out there produced by Little Monsters.
Yes.
Anthony.
It's called Foundation
Genetics, and it's amazing. And it's an amazing blueprint, amazing guideline to follow up with, to study, research. I'm sure there's going to be amendments as the years come.
And
things
additions.
Are going to change.
I mean, there's already been additions to it as we find more genetic genes, as we uncover more genes and different genes mutate. There's different combinations, and you'll be able to see what genes like will work with other genes.
Right.
As we discover, you know, possibly allelic combinations and things like that. There's just so many things that you, as like a normal everyday person, that has to kind of find things out as we progress, and not a geneticist.
Correct.
You know, there's so many things that we have yet to actually uncover and see.
Right. I can remember times where people were being full-blown arguments over harlequins and pinstripes.
Yep.
You know, we have tons of geckos where they are legitimately both, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're showing both examples and great displays of both traits, and you know, people argue over it. And it's just get the information, get the education, and move on.
Yep.
But we're gonna stay on task. Keep me on target.
On topic.
So again, a lot of crested gecko breeders, keepers are getting out. Why is that? Bottom line, guys, you know, again, we're not going to drag the video to the very end for you to figure out what we're talking about, what point we're getting to. Is people can get into the hobby and people can get out of the hobby. People can do whatever they want.
Yes.
I mean, that's the bottom line. You can really do whatever you decide.
You really, and this is the thing, I think the biggest, most single motivating factor for people getting into the industry and people getting out of the industry is, or should be, your genuine interest in the actual animal itself. Right. And where you can go with it. Right. And what you can do with it, and your preference and your passion. Like
right.
That,
even down to keeping. You may just want to keep.
Exactly.
You don't have to breed. You know, we do a lot of videos telling you guys we don't even breed our females every single year. I mean, honestly, in our facility right now, even though we're running everything under the Flawless umbrella, we have Flawless Exotic Creations and we have Flawless Crested Geckos. Mm-hmm. And if, you know, which there's really no reason to, because we don't want to work literally around the clock more than what we already do. But I mean, I can see us being able to house 5,000 geckos. Yep. Could you imagine? That's more than double our collection.
Yeah.
It's just literally will be working around the clock. The kids will be working around the clock. They'll enjoy their paychecks, but still, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
And then also for us, that amount of work at that point, you're going to lose a lot of enjoyment.
Yes.
So if you're losing enjoyment for the species, for the animal itself on the keeping side, that can be a motivating factor of wanting to get out.
Or at the very least, downsizing your collection down to the bare minimum.
So there's
really
some very valid reasons on getting out, but the bottom line is you can do absolutely anything you want to do. Mm-hmm. I do think a lot of people, and again, it's just our opinion, a lot of people that start with the Crested Geckos as a hobby and eventually turn it into a business, they don't fully understand what the business aspects of their own plan is because they didn't plan it out well.
Exactly.
What is it going to take to keep you operational year to year, month to month, week to week? What is it going to take you if you're full time? What is it going to take you to keep not only the business afloat, but your private life afloat? How much you're going to pay yourself?
What is and in addition to that, what is your work-life balance as well? Like, a lot of people don't realize, especially if they jump in and it's one half, like say your significant other or your husband, wife, whatever, you're the one that really wants that aspect of it. You're the one that has the passion, and you jump full head, both, you know, feet, legs, arms, everything in, and you didn't take into account your partner's, you know, wants or needs or whatnot, and now you have overwhelmed yourself with all of this and you need help, or all 100% of your time outside of, like, say, your day job or whatever you do outside of geckos is taken up, you know, doing cleaning geckos.
Right.
You know, so there are multiple reasons why you know, that's just kind of one of the reasons.
And then you roll that into, again, all these are abbreviated kind of summaries of reasons why. And again, none of it is concrete, and we're not speaking on anyone specifically, but also you got to take into consideration the marketing and advertisement aspect of a business, a reptile business, in a very, very small niche area where, you know, there's full-blown companies that do, I mean, far more marketing than even we do.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, it really is needed as far as trying to be successful. You have to understand that analogy. You kind of talk about it a lot better than I do, but that analogy of planting a seed. You know, you start a business. If you can go 1,000% at that business, that brand new business with, you know, no following, no customer base, and you're focused on your product or whatever your business may be, growth in your business for the next 5 to 10 years, I can almost promise you that on year 10, you're going to have more of a following, more of a customer base, more of a demand for your supply than you did in year 1.
Oh,
because along those lines, you planted seeds all along the way, which sparks growth, and you grow that way. All this kind of overnight breeder sensation is not, I don't think is real.
Well, yeah, it's not, there's no staying power with
Right.
it.
Are you guys needing some assistance with your Crested Gecko breeding programs? Well, check out our Patreon. We've been running it here now for pretty much close to 2 years. Everyone's been extremely excited. We keep adding new perks every time you guys turn around. We give away Xanthics, we give away high whites, we give away lily whites. We actually upgraded this year to, we're giving away over 12 geckos every single year. That averages out to at least a gecko a month, and we've been doing over that. So you are not going to want to miss becoming a part of the Flawless Crested Geckos Patreon family. There's 2 tiers. There's a $50 tier and there's a $100 tier. You get all your funds back in the form of Flawless Crested Gecko savings account. You can take advantage of having 5% additional off by being a Patreon member, as well as having year-round free shipping. You guys are not going to want to miss this, so go head over to patreon.com/Flawless Crested Gecko. Right.
And that is a big thing as far as, I think people jump into it thinking that there is this big splash that you can just come in and just splash all over the community and,
right,
you know, and have the ultimate success right then, when really and truthfully, you have to have a foundation.
Absolutely.
And you build on that foundation. And from year to year, season to season, you start learning, you start networking, you start building this community of people around you that, you know, support you in like what you've got going on in your programs, and you find your people within the community.
Right.
And a lot of people just think that, you know, they just can jump right in and just be like that overnight success, like that whole idea of, okay, I've been discovered type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like for us, I mean, and for anyone who has stay in power that has been around for, you know, I mean, even more than like 5 years, even,
right,
you know, for those like fledgling businesses, like, you have to understand that there was a lot of times where nobody knew who you were.
Right.
Like, and you had to plant those seeds. You had to build that strong foundation. You had to have that thought process in mind. You have your end goal in mind, but some people just don't realize how much it takes to
right,
get to each stage.
I'm sure it'll click for you because it's your saying, but you know, we are in the industry and we're fans of a lot of people. We're supporters of a lot of breeders. We're literally rubbing elbows now with people that we look up to still currently. There's several people that, you know, literally we've met these breeders now, and for us as personal goals, we're like, wait, you know who we are too? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, again, and we're extremely humble. At the same time, we're impressed just a little bit, because I don't really, you know, sit there and dwell on it, but we're impressed just a little bit at that point, like, okay, cool, we're doing something right, let's keep
like,
going,
okay,
let's keep pushing.
Yeah, let's keep pushing. It motivates you, like, when your idol becomes your equal.
Right, that's what you said.
Yes, when your idol becomes your equal, and we will never be that company that where we say our idols become our rivals, because that's just not it for us. It is honestly when your idol becomes your equal, and you can absolutely motivate each other in such a positive way. It's like, okay, I have reached a point where I have, this was a goal of ours, that we have created success.
Absolutely.
In these moments. And success isn't necessarily a monetary value. I think a lot of new gecko breeders who want to jump in and want to buy this and this gene and that gene and this gene and that gene, what they're thinking more along the lines of, okay, what's the best to invest in for my return, and not necessarily, okay, what's going to give me staying power as an anchor in this community.
Right.
Because anytime you become an anchor in whatever industry you're in, it doesn't necessarily have to be just, Crested Geckos. It could be any industry across the world, not even reptiles. If you are an anchor in that community, then the money comes along with it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, you have to understand that when you put that much effort and that much passion into something, and there is a market for it, that's how you consistently build and how you consistently better yourself, your business, and the community at large.
Plan, strategize, and execute. You gotta do all of those things. On top of that, anytime that because it can happen that you're successful by accident. It can happen.
That's true.
But the thing is, it's, in my opinion, it's not sustainable.
No.
You have to put things in place to make sure that you keep pushing on.
Yes.
A big point that we talk about on Patreon, in the years, and this is year nine now, in the years that we were pounding the pavement trying to get, out of the trenches, we put a lot of things in play that did not come to fruition quickly. That being said, we had to plan those things. We had to strategize together, and then we had to execute. We had to pull the trigger on a lot of things. We tell you guys on things, on our upside downs. Actually, Audra was the last one to lead the workforce, and she's like, man, it took me too long. And I was like the same thing, telling her the same thing at that time, but you're so scared at the time before you go full time. Yeah. You have a lot of variables to deal with in these specific situations. And it's nerve-wracking, and it's stressful. The stress literally could be through the ceiling, and then you're going from a guaranteed paycheck week to week, month to month, to your payments and paycheck depends on your output in your own business that you own. And you're kind of extremely nervous on, I hope I don't fail. When we need to think every single day, all right, we're going to do this to succeed.
Exactly. And I think actually I mentioned it in a VBS series, and I had to have this is a shout out moment to Robin at Redline, because he and I had like sort of a semi conversation about it, and that is the concept of imposter syndrome.
Right.
A lot of times when you talk about businesses that have been around for years and years and years, and maybe you work for a said business that is an established business, and you're like, you really would want to start your own business, but you don't have the confidence.
Right.
The confidence within yourself and within your business plan, within your community. You don't have that security of knowing you're going to get that paycheck every 2 weeks. You're nervous. You've got all these things, and you're like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And then all of a sudden you have some kind of success, and you're like, okay, I'm still not good enough. Why is this coming? So it's bound to end at some point in time.
Right.
And really, what it is you just need to understand that that's the work that you're putting in. The successes that you have is a building block. It's, each day that you're able to say, okay, I have gotten a little better at this particular thing, whatever it is. That means that you are succeeding in whatever it is you're doing.
And do it by design. So we'll close it up with this kind of long closing now. We'll talk a little bit as far as your planning stage, again, because we're talking about why breeders, get out. Some successful breeders, they just fall upon a down moment or a lull, what we call in law enforcement, in action. And they may not be making, the sales that they're used to,
they
or
may
haven't
be burnt
adjusted.
Out.
Right.
Burnt out is a big thing,
But you need to work on planning as you getting in, or before you get out, while you're in it. It's never too late to plan to fix an issue, but you have to first identify what's your issue. For example, we have several friends. We would never throw anyone under the bus. All we do is love to bring people together. That being said, if we're going to approach becoming a breeder of any species, reptiles period, and we're going to get into the lane and say, okay, we love the keeping side, we're doing everything we need to do, we're having a lot of fun, and you know what, now we're going to vend. That's fine. We already have a primary source of income. We're still in the workforce. We're doing our due diligence. We may be promoting marketing, which you should still be promoting and marketing your business, your company, even if you're a vendor. And when I say a vendor, if you're a vendor, you're typically doing 90+% of your business at shows. There's nothing wrong with that. Do that, but you need to market to the point of now you have a following you from show to show. Oh, I'm going to come here because Flawless is going to be at this show. They may not even be familiar with the promoter throwing the show, but you're bringing people now into the venue through the door. That's now making you an asset to that promoter for that show. So these are things that you can do on that side. Again, this is what we coin as a weekend warrior, because you have a primary source of income. You're not even really thinking about making it your main business, but now you're doing a lot of sales via vending. Now, there are issues and hiccups when you start spinning it over to full time. Now, when you're full time and you're still a vendor, you really need to market and promote, because at the same time, now you're going to be doing more shows. We know a lot of people that do 30+ shows a year, and that's all they do is vend. They don't do anything else, and that's fine. But you're going to run into issues if you have mechanical issues with your vehicle, if you have health issues yourself, family health issues, scheduling issues, because now you're talking about, as far as your full-time revenue, your source of revenue, you can't get to the place to make your revenue because of underlying issues. What do you do now? That's a problem. How do you address this problem? Plan. So now keep doing your shows, but also push just as hard as you push your shows online. Market. Have a soft release here or there. Make it consistent to the point of people know that you're releasing an updated version of your availability every single month or every other month online. You will not receive sales right away. It happened to us. Believe me, we had crickets for our first few online release. We just kept at it. And we started online before vending, which made it easier. In our opinion, it's 100 times easier to start online sales first and then vend, because then you also have a whole bunch of underlying things we talk about on Patreon, about write-offs and things that you can absorb as expenses and still be able to make revenue. Whether you're sick, whether you're on your computer in your underwear, you can still bring in revenue, whatever it may be. So there are several reasons to get out on why people get out, and they can get out just because they feel like getting out. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking for reasons to stay in the hobby or get into hobby, hit the subscribe button, number one. Follow us here. Check us out on Patreon. We have a lot of pertinent and very, very vital information on Patreon, along with tons of perks there. But watching videos like this hopefully can encourage you to plan, strategize, and execute.
Because it's not my saying, but it is a very poignant saying that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Right.
So just keep that in mind.
That's pretty much it for this long conversation with you guys. But it's Will, Audra, Flawless Crested Geckos, and we are out.
Bye.